Hi, I am Tim Bernstein, CEO of Yet2. I'm very honored to be here today and very happy to be able to contribute to Delta Tech's first Tech Type conference. Very excited about exploring innovation and open innovation in Korea and around the world, and very honored to be invited to be able to participate. I'd like to speak today about startups and what they should expect when they're dealing with large companies, and then also to provide some insight and some best practices for those global corporations. I think this is a terrific topic. So Yet2, we are technology scouts. We are a team of 40 based in offices in Boston, from where I speak to you today. Also offices in the United Kingdom and in Tokyo, and a new office that's growing quickly for us in Houston. We help large companies harness open innovation to ignite their corporate innovation. We have a little over 20 years experience now doing this, and we have cross-sector expertise across most of the technology and industry domains, along with global networks and a client base now of about 65 Fortune 500 and Global 1000 companies. Our reason for existence is to help our clients get through to impact and to deals. And we average about 10 to 15 of these a year. This year, actually, we're already at 9, so it's looking very promising for a good year for us and for our clients. Our networks, the global channels that we use to go and find startup companies and promising solutions and new technologies and new products, the 8 channels that we use to do that, we've been working very hard on a daily basis to build these channels now for about 20 years. The first 4 of these channels are what we call direct or Rolodex in nature, meaning that we've built up proprietary databases. We add 3 or 5 or 10 new data points each day during the course of our global wanderings to be able to build up a very robust and comprehensive set of leads around the world that can help solve our clients' problems. The first of those we call the Yet2 Competencies Technology Database. And that is the fruits of over 20 years, a fairly comprehensive list of recent new technologies and startup companies that we have found that look promising. Our second Rolodex channel is an established ventures network, combined with about 30,000 now small and medium-sized companies who are leading edge in each of their technology spaces. Our third network is a set of relationships really with the Global 1000, with innovative universities around the world, with research institutes, and with a global set of venture capital networks as well. Our fourth channel is a collection of proactive experts. We have found for pretty much any technology topic that a large company client might bring us, we will be able to draw either on our internal team expertise or on this network of external experts to be able to drill down very quickly into added value in each of those topic spaces. The second set of 4 channels are what we call broadcast in nature, much broader to a much broader set of solution providers, solvers, technologists, and it's across 4 different approaches to this. The first of those is right on the Yet2 website and our marketplace directly. The second is a set of syndication partners who've built up their own audiences of solvers and solution providers, and we partner with them to get our tech needs out to their solvers. The third channel is a set now of about 1,000 global broker partners, and you can see the map there on the right that represents, that illustrates that we have been able to reach into most local technology innovation centers in the world where any interesting innovation is happening. And then our fourth channel is an online and social media channel that we've been building very carefully over the last few years and is growing very quickly. I'd like to add, just before I switch to speak about the team for a moment, we're working on a 9th channel now. I'm very excited about it. I don't want to say much yet, but it's looking like it's going to have a very high yield of very promising startup companies, specific focus in that 9th new channel we're building. So the Yet2 team is a team of 40. We're a very nice complementary mix of technical PhD expertise, along with venture capital expertise. How do you find startup companies that are going to be valuable? Also with IP or patent expertise, and then with commercial expertise. And that combination of those 4 competencies makes us a very powerful partner for helping our clients not just find interesting technology, but then what do they do with it and how do they move it to impact inside their companies. So our services, we do a little bit of technology licensing, out licensing, and a little bit of anonymous patent buying for our clients. But the vast majority of the work we do these days is in 5 services around technology scouting. The first of these services, and really our core scouting engine, is what we call topic-specific scouting. We conduct this scouting on behalf of most of our clients. These are 3 to 4 month searches where we scour the earth and look for every solution that we can find out there that might be relevant, and then work very carefully with our clients to filter, prioritize, and then move into resource evaluations and hopefully to deals. Our second service is called mini searches. And like it sounds, it's a mini version of our topic specific. The third service is a strategic service, strategic deal flow, where we are bringing our clients who are interested a much more strategic flow of adjacency and disruptive and step change opportunities. So where do they take their business next beyond the current core? The fourth set are around innovation tours and pitch days. And this set of services is a little bit more focused on still scouring the earth, but also then bringing our clients' key stakeholders into the process in order to greatly accelerate that impact and movement toward deals. And then the fifth service is called Open Innovation Portals. We host a dozen of these now for clients, helping them extend their audiences and their ecosystems for finding those innovative startup companies out in the world. A few of our client relationships we can share here. The vast majority of the 65 remain anonymous because we're doing very sensitive, highly competitive work for them, and very important that the world not know where these companies are headed next in their innovation journeys. But we can share a few here and a couple of testimonials as well. As you can see, cross-industry, even from this small little sliver, we are very much cross-industry and very much cross-geography in our client base as well. So to speak about startups and engaging with the large corporates, I want to start with a case study, and this one is a very frustrating case study, but it's a standard example for us. Unfortunately, we could give hundreds of case studies like this, pretty sadly. This one is a startup company actually partnered with a university that has a solution in the avobenzone space. This is sunscreens. That one of our large clients was very interested in. So you can see here on December 12th, 2018, we found that startup company and we started the engagement. We were actually able to get a non-confidential introduction call scheduled in late February of 2019. So that's 2 months later, which for us is about a month longer than it should be, but that's not horrible to get a promising candidate into direct discussions. But then things got very, very difficult. So you can see across the course of 2019, we were trying to get a sample from the startup company to our clients, and we got stuck initially with the R&D team at our clients, Then we got stuck with the legal team at our client, and eventually we got really stuck around issues of MTAs, which are material transfer agreements. The MTA should have taken about a week to negotiate. It actually took us about 8 months, total disaster. By the time we finally got the MTA agreed between that startup and the large company, so the large company could receive those samples, it was now January of 2020, and the samples had deteriorated to the point that the startup actually had to go build new samples all over again. Startups, not much cash, very resource constrained. This was a tough setback for that startup company. And thus the large company missed out on a really interesting new material, a new innovation opportunity, because we couldn't get the logistics, we couldn't get the expectations set between that startup and the large company. So that's a cautionary tale in the things that can go wrong and often do. And so I want to shift from that then to recommendations for the startups. What is it that the large companies expect, and how can you play well into those expectations in order to greatly accelerate and facilitate these evaluations rather than sending them off the deep end, if you will? So this is a very full chart here. There's a lot going on. I'm not going to describe all of this today, but I did want to highlight that there are here a few best practices for startups, and then also traps for the startups to avoid. And we've broken these out by the 4 primary steps that we see in moving from initial introduction all the way through to deal. So for example, at the non-confidential evaluation stage, we highly recommend that the startups be responsive. If the large company makes a request and there's some way you can do it, return very quickly, turn that around as quickly as you can. Even if the large company is moving very slowly, if you can take time out of the process, that's hugely helpful for those large companies. There are always ways to get around key concerns that you have. Are you worried that the large companies might steal your technology? Are you worried about the terms of an NDA? Are you worried about sending samples? There are always ways to address those concerns in a way that protects you and still yet builds momentum and trust. And we're very big on momentum and trust. Apologies also for the frog in my throat. So we also have a set of recommendations and best practices for the large companies. And here you can see we highly recommend that the large company technology scouts be well armed to represent their product divisions. If the scouts are working on their own and then they later have to go to the product divisions in effect to get approval or buy-in, that makes for a much longer, much lower prospects type of process. Similarly, large companies should clarify and share what their interest is. I know they often get nervous about this, and we're fine to negotiate NDAs in order to bind the startups so that they can't share that information anywhere else. But very important for the startups to have a sense of what the large company is seeking. If the startup thinks that large company is seeking this around their technology, but the large company is really interested in that, then when the startup brings good data on this, the large company says, well, yeah, but you can't do that, so we're not interested. So it's very important for the prospects to be able to share the large company interest. As well, confirm a good fit, confirm resources and skills are assigned inside the large company to move this opportunity ahead, and etc. You get the flow here. We also have seen a lot, as I mentioned, a lot of those case studies where things did not go well. And we've built up a roster here of traps for the large companies to avoid. Just one, you can see lengthy testing procedures, kiss of death for startups. Can you, the large company, design a set of test procedures that are as simple as possible and still get you confidence that their technology is going to work as they claim it does? So a few best practices and a few traps to avoid, both for the startups and for the large companies. If you are successful, the successes can be extremely large. If you learn how to harness these best practices, if you learn how to avoid the traps, the successes can be awesome when partnering a startup company with a large company. This is just one example. As I said, we do about 15 of these a year, and they are very fun when they hit. This example in particular was with a large company called Procter & Gamble, where we found an adhesive technology which enabled white strips to stick much more effectively to your teeth for the tooth whitening in a startup company in Southern California called Corium. And so Corium gave to P&G that adhesive, that gluing technology. In return, P&G gave a microneedles technology to Corium. And Corium is now a phase 3 medical device company using these microneedles to great advantage in their medical markets, while White Strips was one of P&G's most successful product launches of the last 2 decades. So when we can harness these types of relationships between the startup and the large company, the outcomes can be huge impact for both sides. So I wanted to speak for a moment about areas where we are seeing large companies seeking technology. This is just a very short overview list, and there are some really interesting topics in here, everything from obviously antimicrobial and antiviral, to barrier films, to LiDAR, to liquid biopsy technologies, all the way through to sports science and smart sensors. So that gives you just a very brief flavoring there of about 45 topics where we are seeing large companies desperately seeking technology today. So if you're a startup who has a solution in one of these spaces, give me a call afterward, and happy to talk through the fit with our client base. As well, I wanted to give you just a little bit more illustration of what we mean by these topic spaces. One of the hottest topic areas where we're seeing right now is around sustainable packaging. In particular, this example is around food and beverage applications. But millennials in the US and around the world are driving much more sensitivity around our impact on the world and the environment, and much greater push and momentum toward a circular economy, with sustainable packaging being a very key part of that. And here are just 6 examples of technology needs, searches our clients are having us conduct today in this topic space of sustainable packaging. So with that, I want to thank you very much, and again, very honored that you were, that Yet2 was able to join, and hopefully this brief overview was a little bit helpful, both for startups and for large companies in partnering better together going forward. Thank you very much.